Kamaru Usman and Joaquin Buckley both made weight today, and the main event for UFC Atlanta is official.
Official weight 171 pounds for Kamaru Usman. Official weight 171 pounds for Joaquin Buckley.
After Kayla Harrison defeated Juliana Pena to become the new UFC Bantamweight champion, Kayla called out Amanda Nunes. The following day, Demetrious Johnson gave his take on the fight, stating that it would be a bad idea for Kayla to fight Amanda. DJ suggested Kayla retire and stated that it would probably be an easy fight for Amanda. Kayla has since responded. In an interview with MMA Junkie, she said, "I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. He gets paid to give his opinions, so fair play to him. I live my life out loud. And so there's a lot of room for people to have their own thoughts and speculate or comment on my life and my choices. But I think that it's important for people to know that I do believe in myself. And I think it's important for people to know that it's okay to believe in yourself. Like, how dare you tell me to think less of me? I'm the greatest, and I'm going to prove it. I've never met the guy. I'm a huge fan of him. I have been for a long time. I've always considered him, I mean, he was my GOAT for a long time. So whatever, it's none of my business what people think of me." Kamaru Usman explains why he's no longer interested in fighting Belal Muhammad.
And I don't know if you saw, but Belal Muhammad, after he lost his belt, he said there's a lot of interest in fighting you. And is he in your plan to get back to the world title?
Now here's the thing: is when Belal Muhammad was champion, there was a reason to fight Belal Muhammad, right? He had a title. Let's be honest here. We're not the best of friends, but I don't wish him any bad. But what do you have to offer me? You gonna give me a side deal? You gonna throw me a little extra cash on the side? If he's willing to do that, maybe. But who knows? Yeah.
So the bad blood between you two doesn't give you any.
There was never bad blood. That was never really the case. Like, if you really look at the history of, you look at myself and Colby Covington, that rivalry, but there was a story, there was things that are lined up there. With Belal, no, it's just a guy that was in a division that did well, eventually became champion, and then once he became champion, then you really start to kind of hear his voice a little bit more, and at times it was a little bit annoying, and that was pretty much it. But there's no necessarily bad blood between me and Belal. You know, I wish him well. If he's champion, or if I'm champion, I'm sure he's going to want to fight me. If he's champion, I'm going to want to compete against him for sure.
Mike Perry explains what it was like sparring Sean Strickland. In an interview with MMAfighting.com, Perry said, "We've talked about it a few times, and I went out of my way to make it happen. I had to go to Vegas. Obviously, he's the big name, and Platinum's got his own name, his own power going on. But that was kind of my choice to make, and I made sure I wrote him and contacted him and we talked. I sent him my number. He hit me up, and he's such a great guy. Sean Strickland was trying to get me to ride dirt bikes and shoot guns out there in the desert of Las Vegas, and I just didn't have the time. But I could stop by. You guys got sparring at 10 a.m. on this day. Okay, I'll be there." I showed up, I went, I did some warm-ups, I did a round with someone else, and then I did a round with Sean, who's very big, by the way. He's got at least 35 pounds on me, and it was nice to see his style and how he is, and feel some of those punches. Obviously, that's a Platinum pressure style that I had to use to get myself close to him, to even try to make contact. Sean was very defensive, and I can make you very tired just by blocking a lot of your punches, or taking some of them right on the forehead. When I'm in that type of shape, plus elevation in Las Vegas, it's not something I prepared myself for. I just showed up at the gym and did it. A 5-minute round with Sean Strickland. Obviously, he'll work with you, probably because most people don't want to go for Sean Strickland for 5 minutes. And if they did, we would see what would happen to him. Any of those punches that I had to take just to roll off the shoulder would have dropped a lot of folks that are in the comments talking. But I wanted to give you guys the entertainment and show you guys. And it was cool to spar Sean, man. I like his capabilities. Imagine if I have the cardio to go 3 5-minute rounds with him. That pressure of me blocking those punches with my forehead, I'm going to make you so tired. You're going to look for a way out. I don't care who you are. And Sean will put you out, and I'll put you out too. So don't be hating, and I'm out here elevating. I'm lifting people up." Darren Till claims Nate Diaz pulled out of a fight with him. He says Tyron Woodley was not interested in fighting him at the moment, and both Jorge Masvidal and Mike Perry priced themselves out.
What's happening, everyone? So, I had fight news to announce the other day to everyone, well, basically this week. Basically, Nate Diaz called the fight on with me. He wanted to fight me on the 2nd of August. He called the weight, he called everything on, and obviously I accepted. I got straight into camp on Monday. Now he's pulled out of the fight. Carl Frock said on his YouTube channel about 2 weeks ago that he only needs 4 weeks training to fight me, but now he's saying he only wants to fight me next year. He'll only be ready next year. Tyron Woodley said he'd be interested, but not right now, even though he beat me in the UFC. Masvidal said he's not interested. Masvidal's priced himself out. Mike Perry's priced himself out, even though Mike Perry offered me 350 grand to fight on his promotion. Mike Perry's priced himself out by 5 times that. So like, I'm basically ready to go in August now against any one of yous, but yous are all giving out excuses, this, that, even though 2 of yous have beat me, and like Nate Diaz is the one that called the fight on with me.
Aljamain Sterling is not interested in fighting Jean Silva right now. Aljo admits that Silva would be an extremely tough fight.
By the way, there's this young cat, sort of young, Jean Silva, who's making some noise.
Oh yeah, he's tough. I told his coach after he won against Bryce, I saw him in the back room, I said, just tell him not to call me out.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like they're gonna try to make you versus Jean Silva. Why do I feel like they're gonna
tell John not to call me out?
Guy's
like, I like this guy.
mofo.
I don't wanna fight him right now.
Yes.
I can fight him, I just don't wanna fight him right now. Like, I'm on a different trajectory right now. I wanna do something different. He's on a different trajectory. He was like, you do your thing, I do my thing, and eventually we'll meet up. But for right now, it's like, I don't want those problems right now. I'm like, and I'm just being honest. That's a tough cat to fight right now.
Joaquin Buckley says he felt a different energy from Kamaru Usman during their face-off earlier this week.
I always love to see the type of energy that fighters give other people and to see if they will get to me. And with Kamaru Usman, you know, I feel like a lot of fights that, you know, he had and a lot of opponents that, you know, he would go back and forth with, whether that's Masvidal, whether that's Leon, whether that's Colby Covington himself, you know, he was quiet with me, right? And I seen, you know, not about his body language, but just his demeanor. Him taking in a deep breath before he seen me. Like, little details like that mean a lot to me, right? Because he know the person that he's finna deal with in front of him is about to give him that action. And, you know, I just can't wait because I'm already knowing with that type of energy, even though you might be nervous or you might be, I wouldn't even say frightened, right? But worried about what's in front of you, you're gonna be locked in. And those are the fighters to watch out for at the end of the day.
Ray Longo believes Sean O'Malley was given too easy of a path to the title. Following O'Malley's second loss to Merab Dvalishvili last weekend, Longo says it's becoming more apparent that he wasn't truly tested on his way to the belt.
When you're gifted the way he was and you start to believe in it and then you really have to fight somebody, it's a major problem. Like when I get my guys coming up, even like in the Ring of Combat back in the day, they all had tough fights. They weren't going to get to the UFC without a tough fight. Who the hell wants that? Then you find out, you know, at the wrong time. You know what I mean? You want to find out before they make that big walk. And O'Malley obviously is super talented, but they did give him guys that are just going to stand in front of him, that weren't grapplers, that play into his game. And now, okay, now you got a guy who's his wrestling, his MMA wrestling is just off the charts. And now what do? You're going to correct that in a couple of months, or you think you're going to bring Israel out of Sonya? Not a knock to Israel, but, you know, like you're starting to do things that appear to make you look better, but they're not doing anything. There was an easy recipe for him. I don't know if they followed it, but, you know, that's the issue. I think that he was given certain things that just, they're not making you better. They might be making people money, but are you growing as a fighter? Is each fight testing you in a different area that you weren't tested before? I mean, look at the guys like Merab. Even though O'Malley's striking is very different, he did have to go in there with Jose Aldo. You know what I mean? And, you know, look, Merab didn't get Jose Aldo down. You know, he beat him against the cage, but, you know, so it's not like he's unstoppable. You can't stop him. There's guys that have stopped his takedowns. They just can't do anything else. Then he moves to plan B.
Right.
Gilbert Burns is hoping Kamaru Usman gets the win over Joaquin Buckley tomorrow. Burns and Usman fought back in 2021 with Usman winning by a third-round TKO, but the two have remained close friends and training partners ever since.
Yeah, I hope. I want Kamaru to win.
Yeah.
guy was at the gym. He was looking very good. And at the gym, we had one of the guys that is smashed Buckley for sure. Back in the days, a long time was a Bellator. Logan Sterling just out wrestled him, ground and pound him.
Yeah.
He showed Kamaru the way. You know, I think Kamaru has to mix it up. I think he was the best at his time when he was mix it up, not just striking, not like. I kind of called that he was gonna lose to Leon. He wasn't at that time. He wasn't wrestling anymore.
Yeah.
He just stand up with Leon's. I knew it was gonna be hard, but whenever he's mix it up, sometimes he'll wrestle not just to wrestle just to make this guy think about it.
So you can strike better.
And then strike better, get loose. If the shots that take this guy down, make this guy tired. Buckley's very muscular, very strong.
Yeah.
If he left Buckley out of pressure, Buckley stop putting pressure. If you lose, Buckley is very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
So I think the way to Kamaru is put pressure, and I hope he wins. And I think he can. We're gonna see that.
You think he's the right side at plus 235 as an underdog though?
Plus 2.
It's a good number. Yeah.
It's a good number.
Who's harder to take down? Do you think Buckley or Edwards?
Yeah, but these guys fought so many times. You know, they fought 3 times. Kamaru kind of took him down, dominated him in the first fight, and then got knocked out in the second fight. He was dominating you, and then lost the third fight. So it's hard. You know, those guys fought how many rounds? 3, 5. Yeah. These guys for like 13 rounds, so they know each other, you know.
Yeah.
But I think Buckley's a little harder taking down, but it's different. Yeah, Buckley's southpaw too, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Leon southpaw, Buckley southpaw. But Kamaru did good at a lot of southpaws with Damian Maia. There's a remember who else was a southpaw? Hamza was a orthodox. Kobe was a southpaw. He did good against Kobe. I think Kamaru wins, and I hope he wins.
Yeah.
Justin Gaethje says he's done fighting for fun now. He claims that the UFC begged him to take the Max Holloway fight at UFC 300, and says he feels like he got f***ed after the UFC booked Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria for the vacant lightweight title. Gaethje went on to say, "I don't plan on ever fighting anywhere else, but I'm also not gonna fight for fun anymore. They owe me a championship fight. I'm 3-1 in my last 4. They came to my house and begged me to fight Max Holloway at UFC 300. I consider it an exhibition fight. I don't mean that the loss is not on my record. I mean it had nothing to do with the rankings. In the time that I did that, Dustin Poirier, who I just beat, got a good win over Benoit Saint Denis and then fought for the belt. Since I won, the champion has been saying he wants to fight me, so they could have easily set that up, but they didn't. Then he vacates, and then Charles Oliveira's 2-2 in his last fights, already has lost to Islam, and they bring a new guy in, and I get f***ed again. So I'm not going to fight any of these motherfuckers for fun, unless they pay me so much more money." Ilia Topuria had some words for Paddy Pimblett today. He says he hates Paddy and wants to fight him because he's a pain in the ass. Ilia said he's a hypocrite. "I'll tell you, I remember we shared a press conference once, and he said something like, 'I'm fighting in the main card and you're on the prelims.' Now I'm thinking I have 2 belts. Where are you? Who the f*** is Paddy Pimblett right now? And why would he deserve to fight me right now? Honestly, if I could choose a fight, I would fight him because I hate him. He's a pain in the ass. I'd love to give that fight to the fans, because for a long time I believe that in the UFC you haven't seen a real fight. 2 people who really want to fight each other. And what better way than to fight in front of everyone and put on a show? I know what's going to happen, and it won't be good for him." And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from J-Dubs. It says, "Usman ain't beating Buckley, and he already calling out Islam and DDP." The second one's from MMA for Life. It says, "Prayers for Ben Askren." And the final one's from Treyball Wavy. It says, "O'Malley needs to be beefing with all the yes men in his camp." Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.